How effectively do you think the review uses traditional sight and sound layout conventions?
I feel that it's at a basic layout at the moment. Like, I feel that you've got close conventions to it. I think they still need to be altered to make it look more conventional and original, but I feel that you've got a good structure at the moment, so yeah, for the first draft, yeah.
How do you think they could be developed?
Well, I like the columns already there, but I think the measurements need to be sorted out because I think they're all different. But I feel the layout is fine, but maybe just setting up with like sectioning it off with like the lines and the conventional dotted lines but yeah, I feel it just needs nothing major. I think you made that.
Awesome. What could be done in your view that would make it challenge industry conventions?
Well, I like what you've done with the photos. Kind of more of a long shot thing. No, well, what's that type of shot called?
It's kind of like a. Do you mean like it's like a mid shot, but the photo's a bit longer?
Yeah, long wise. Yeah, I like that's kind of challenging. I feel that. I don't know if you meant it, but the colour of the synopsis, like the background of it is a different colour, and I think that's kind of challenging it already. But you could probably, I don't know, like change the colour of like certain roles in the production team just to make them stand out more.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge it like that.
And how do you think font has been used effectively, if it has?
Yeah, I feel that the main text talking about the film is close to the original. So's the headlines, the headings and all that, but I feel the sizes of them, like especially the headings, are wrong, but I feel that can just be altered. But yeah, apart from that, I think they're pretty close. Maybe not the best, but pretty close, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what about text size? Do you think it's been used effectively as well?
Yeah, I feel the main text is and the credits and the cast, but I feel the heading is like it's a bit too big, and apart from that, yeah, the other ones are all right. I feel they're original.
Do you think language has been used well?
Yeah, it's pretty formal, and it criticises but then talks about the film, so it's a good ratio of critique and or just talking about the film. So I think it's good. I think it's well said, and it
How do you think the language could be developed?
I don't know. I think it's all right at the moment. Maybe just like no, I think it's pretty good. I think that's a good review on it. Maybe a little bit more critical as well, or just like challenging the text by just like I don't know, but yeah, just more critical in a way.
Mm-hmm. So you said earlier that it was formal. So do you think the register suits the magazine context for the review?
Yeah, I feel that it fits the whole style of writing of a review. I feel that it's formal, but not too formal that it's overdone. But I feel it's got a nice style to the writing, and it's yeah.
Do you think there was an appropriate use of ICT?
Yeah, maybe it's basic at the moment because it's the first draft, so it's all right at the moment. It could be better, but yeah, it's right. It's good layout, but yeah.
How do you think it could be made better?
Well, the ICT skills. I don't know, just exploring the tools you can use. Do you do it in Word? yeah, just exploring what you can do with them and stuff, like to make it look more professional.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it's all right at the moment. It's just a bit basic.
Awesome. How do you think the image could be integrated with the text in a more effective way?
A little bit bigger. I think it's a bit smaller at the moment. Like, and it's a bit. It's alright. It's alright. I think it's cut off a bit.
Mm.
And I feel like if it was a bit wide, like longer, like I think you could see more of the picture and get more representations out of it because it's kind of cut off. And I didn't really see that Harley was holding glass. So maybe a bit bigger and wider. No, long ways.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you pretty much answered the frame question then. So, lastly, do you think this works well from a mise-en-scène perspective, the picture?
Yeah, I feel what they're wearing, like red and black, kind of symbolises like because her daughter's like devilish, isn't she? But yeah, I feel that they were drinking wine. They're older, they're adults, you know. So I feel that, and it's the sofa in the back is well, it's like working class, casual. I feel that it's all right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay. How effectively do you think the review uses traditional sight and sound layout conventions?
It uses it quite effectively, like from like the font sizes, the font shine, and like how the credits are set out. And yeah, so it's quite effective.
Do you think there would be any way they could be developed?
Yeah, there's like no lines, like separation lines in the columns, so that could be developed.
What could be done, in your view, that would make it challenge industry conventions?
You could maybe position the synopsis or something in a different place, but you've already kind of challenged them with the picture at the top.
Mm-hmm. How do you think the font has been used effectively, if it has?
I think it has because, like, you can see in the credits like that, and yeah.
Where do you think it could be developed?
Maybe. No, not really. I don't know.
What about text size? Do you think it's been used effectively as well?
Yeah, because you can see like the columns like for text and credits like roughly the same size, and then obviously like the titles made bold and like bigger. So yeah.
Awesome. How do you think it either challenges or develops from sight and sound?
It challenges by the different positions of like the picture, the title and text, and it also challenges it by the synopsis. The colour's different to like one from sight and sound.
Do you think that language has been used well?
Yeah.
Where do you think the criticism is most effective?
In the end paragraph.
How do you think it could be developed to engage and inform as well as critique better?
I think it's pretty good, to be honest. Yeah.
Do you think the register suits the magazine context for the review?
Yeah.
Where do you think it is especially appropriate?
Probably there, so I don't know, like roughly the first, second paragraph.
Do you think it's developed sight and sound conventions?
Yeah.
How do you think it has developed sight and sound conventions?
The way the columns are like set out, the size, the picture, you have the text underneath, and yeah.
Do you think there was an appropriate use of ICT?
Yeah, I think you used Word or something. Yeah.
How do you think, how do you think it could be challenged or developed to be more innovative and effective?
Well, you've already challenged it by the title and picture, but you could like maybe challenge it even more by changing the position of the synopsis or like swapping around the layout of the columns and stuff.
Do you think that the image could be has been integrated with text in an effective way?
Yeah.
How do you think it? You've already said. Could be moved around or made bigger. Do you think the image has been framed well?
Yeah.
How do you think it could challenge or conform? No. How do you think it could challenge or conform to industry conventions?
Maybe you could put it in another position or something. Yeah.
Do you think the image works well from a mise-en-scène perspective?
Yeah.
Why do you think this? And where do you think mise-en-scène has been used well in the picture?
The background, and you can like the set background and like the ball of like alcohol in the hand.
Awesome. How effectively do you think the review uses traditional sight and sound layout convention?
Well, I think generally speaking quite well, mainly because of the columns are quite well arranged as is in sight and sound. I think maybe the picture could be made a bit bigger if we speak about convention, and the kind of page heading thing, or the border, whatever you want to call it, that would be somewhat useful. And the synopsis, generally speaking, so let me see, synopsis, generally speaking, too, that works quite well in terms of the subset layout. And it's a similar layout to when you are presented with a kind of big one-page review, although they're kind of rare.
Okay, what could be done in your view that would make it challenge industry conventions?
Well, currently it does kind of challenge industry conventions as the layout is somewhat different. But I think, generally speaking, as I said, I'll repeat that anyway. I don't think it needs so much to challenge layout conventions as it already does so, as to kind of adhere to somewhat more of them, because I think it would make it look a bit more professional, such as the lines between the reviews, and I think maybe the review could be cut down a tiny bit, because usually, especially when we're considering a short film, you won't have that much text devoted to one review, and perhaps also somewhat of a change in colour in some of the fonts, because sometimes it's a bit dull.
Okay, so you mentioned the font in the last one. Do you think they've been used effectively? Or?
Not the colours, but I think cause looking at the Sight and Sound review, there's not much difference between your font and the Sight and Sound review. And it is it's a good size, I think. Maybe it could be made a tiny bit bigger. Actually, no, I take that back. Yeah, that's what I've got to say about it.
Okay, you were talking about the font again. Could you just pick out one specific example where you think it's been used well or could be developed?
The title headings, I think it's not been used very effectively, because Trash doesn't stand out yet. It's the title, and it should stand out because it is the title. I mean, Sight and Sound. While you are still breaking Sight and Sound convention through that, I think it just doesn't. It doesn't really show off the things, and I think there's too much space in between. There's too much space there as well, in between the picture and the titles.
Do you think that language has been used well?
To an extent, yes. I mean, you've made several mistakes, such as writing that he's purposely made the reader underestimate the daughter, and of course the atonement stuff final when you're trying to refer to Himikun, but that's not done. But apart from that, generally, I need to stop saying that. Okay. And maybe you could make it sound, maybe the formal parts a bit more formal and a bit less informality, such as, well, actually no, I think maybe the tiny bit more kind of sense of formality, while also while also speaking in a bit more kind of tongue-in-cheek way. I think it's different sound in that sense.
Do you think that it has critiqued well, and if so, where do you think the criticism is most effective?
The characters are critiqued well, as well as the conclusions good. Though, as I said, I think the critique's too long. It's a bit, well, it's not incredibly long, but I think it could do with some cutting down, because 3 big columns is generally more than required. I mean, when you say the term purposely made the reader underestimate, blah, 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 I think that that would do well to be cut down a tiny bit. I mean, the intertextual reference is alright, but I'm not sure if you were to just say in the Amsterdam, like for now, that many people would know what the hell that is. I mean, if you're referencing a literary text in a film review, then you have to assume that it's also for a literature audience, so you might want to find a film where they might do that rather than a book. It might make the critique altogether sounder.
Okay, you mentioned the formal register a couple of lines back. How do you think it's developed Sight and Sound conventions, or how do you think it could?
Well, it to an extent adopted the generally kind of formal importance, though I think it's somewhat inferior to the Sight and Sound one. I think Sight and Sound one's got a far more kind of firm grasp on the situation. But on the situation, on the language used, just trying to find a good example. There are times when it feels like you don't, as I say, have a grasp on what needs to be said in these things. Have a grasp on what needs to be said in these things. Have a grasp on your language or the things we're discussing. I mean, it would appear that Sight and Sound reviews are far more self-assured about their use of informal register.
Do you think there was an appropriate use of ICT?
Of ICT?
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
Not really, if I'm going to be honest, because at the moment it looks like the blueprints of a review rather than an actual review. I mean, I know it's a first draft, so you can't say much, but
Sorry, someone was there.
edit that out as well. Will. I think it would need far more attention to the page layout. I mean, you've got everything currently. You've got everything currently in place, so it's just not fine tuned. I like in Sight and Sound, it's far more kind of well presented because there's like page borders and there's far more spaces in between the page, and that's where the review's set. And plus, I think the picture could be bigger. I know it's a kind of deviation from the general Sight and Sound layout, which is in a sense good, though it's I think it looks a bit amateurish when it's got that big space there.
Okay, going back to the image then, how do you think it could be integrated with the text in a more effective way?
I said, as I said before, make it bigger and perhaps make it intrude onto the writing a bit more, and that would be easily done if you cut down some of the writing because it is a bit overlong, as I said.
Do you think the image has been framed well?
I think, yeah, it's somewhat small, and maybe a bit more of his head might have been a bit better, but it's generally alright. It probably could have some more of the action in it. Or if you look at Sight and Sound, it usually focuses on the two main characters, which you've got all right, but there's more kind of to the pictures, because which you can attribute to being, you can edit, attribute to the page, which can be attributed to the page layout.
Do you think the picture works well from a mise-en-scène perspective?
Why are you in there? Huh? Oh, sorry guys, sorry. Are you still going?
Do you think this works well from a mise-en-scène perspective?
Yeah. I think it's got the champagne glasses and it's got the two together. But maybe it could be framed in a more, in a way, so as to kind of show them both in a kind of in equal proportions, because it kind of looks like Harley's the daughter, because she's so small in the picture. I know she's small in real life, but you might create a meaning you didn't want to create by having them both kind of smaller and having one a lot smaller than the other in the frame.